Hello YELLOWPOP, I'm Vicon. Welcome to my house. Come and see where I put my neon. So this is my living room. This is where I create and I hang out with my friends. And during lockdown, I wanted to make this place a bit more friendly and comfortable. So I did that mural piece on the wall. And I added the cool YELLOWPOP neon next to it to just add more lights and more colors in this house. This is also a blanket that I have from Kellyanna London. She's a beautiful artist and I'm really happy because it goes perfectly with my mural behind. So this is the spot where I work and where I create my illustrations. These two paintings are really important to me because they've been created by a Colombian artist called Camila Barretos, and they're always with me when I work and they're my inspiration. So these pieces are the pieces of my future collection. It's second-hand sourced, hand-painted, and I make them one by one, and they're all unique and specially made for you guys. So this is my kitchen. These are some objects that I drew on, like a lampshade, candles. As you can see, I drew on almost everything in this house. Come and see upstairs. I have some special pieces of my collection. Follow me. So these pieces are pieces from Alexei Kondakov. I was drawn to these pieces right away when I saw them. He's a great artist. He photoshopped antique paintings in actual everyday scene, and I just love them. This is why they're surrounding me every night. Hi, I'm Victoria Boissonnat, also known as Vicon as an illustrator. I'm from Switzerland, but I moved to London 5 years ago. I use the one-line technique for my illustrations. It started when I was 15 years old, when I was taking care of kids in the Italian part of Switzerland, and I pierced a water balloon to draw on a concrete wall with the flow of the water, and it left a mark on that wall, and this is when I started to realize I would use that technique. I didn't know at that time, but I would use that technique for the rest of my practice. So in physical terms, I would describe my art practice mainly on sketchbooks. So I started with a pierced water balloon on that wall, and then I brought this one line in sketchbooks with a non-stop flow pen. And these days I've been getting out of the sketchbooks a bit and trying to bring it to other surfaces like murals, textile, and different places that I could just draw all around the house, if I could say. So the concept behind my drawing is mainly a questioning of the human body and the human envelope, and I like to draw different encounters between bodies without knowing if it's a woman or a man. I often draw gender-neutral compositions so everyone could recognize themselves in the drawing. I've lived through various body surgeries from my spine to my knee, and it has always been something that was really important to me, as like how do you discover your body and how do you live with it as it's a part of us. And I wore a plastic corset for 3 years of my life, which formed my whole body. And in these drawings, even though they can seem a bit colorful and childish in some perceptions, it's a big questioning about our identities and the body that we live in mainly. So I would say my favorite medium is the ball pen on paper. I love to use that. I feel really comfortable. When I get my sketchbook, I just sit there and I don't think about selling a piece or is the piece going to look nice. I'm just putting my pen on the paper and draw for hours to let things get out of me and have a sort of self-reflection with myself. But these days I try to bring that line on other surfaces, and I really enjoy doing murals and like paint on textile, use different material to express myself. But I would say that a basic black pen and a sketchbook has always been something that I love. And even sometimes that I have to try to make it digital, I always feel more comfortable to go back to the good old pen and paper. So creating my illustrations have always been something that was simply a need in my life. I just need to sit sometimes, take my sketchbook and take a moment for myself to reflect. And these illustrations sometimes are really, like, I question myself from what ends up on the page, because often when I open my sketchbook and I start to draw, I never know what's going to end up on the paper. So I just put my pen on the paper and see where the line brings me, and it helps me to reflect on who I am and what's going on inside of me. And then at the end, I will take the sketchbook and go through the sketchbook and see what I could do from these illustrations. And sometimes if I look at them at first, I wouldn't think about using them, but going back through my books, I realized that I could maybe use one illustration to bring it to something different, like a neon. So all my work and all my illustrations has heavy subjects behind it mainly. They could seem childish and colorful and quite simple to some people, but actually I try to defend causes that are close to my heart, like female empowerment and questioning about the body and the body envelope, as I said before. For example, my last drawing, who was Gaia, La Femme, it could seem that that woman was simply standing there really calm, but actually it was a whole reflection from me from the week that just happened with Women's Rights Day and everything that happened to women during this week. And yeah, behind my drawing, if you scratch a bit, you will always discover a story and a link with causes that are important to me. So during lockdown, I did that yellow paint on my wall because I wanted to add some lights in the room. And then I realized I needed something more to make the room pop even more. So I took my sketchbook and I drew, and it just came to me. I saw that drawing and I thought it would fit perfectly with the light. So I just decided to take pink so it would merge well together with the yellow. And mainly that's it. I just opened my sketchbook, drew a bit, and I decided that drawing would be the one. First time I started to bring my art on textile was when I was at uni. I started to screen print t-shirts, and then I left it on site for a bit to work on my illustrations on paper. And one day I met a friend from Paris in London at a party, and she just told me she wanted to start a fashion collection, her first launch. And we decided to work together to launch a capsule collection with my illustration on the clothes. So it was really strange for me for the first time to see someone wearing a page of my sketchbook that's so intimate to me on their back in the street, in public. It was just something that is really unusual, but gives you so much motivation to continue and just bring it further. So this is what I'm doing now with my new secondhand hand-painted collection that's going to launch soon. So my first mural was in a club in Geneva, and I drew the toilets for men and women, and I actually made a statement by changing the colors, so putting pink for men and blue for women. And this was just a great experience. And recently I did a 25 square meter floor painting on a bike field, and it was just a great experience. It's such a different sensation to draw in a large scale. A lot more pressure though, because you can't make that many mistakes, and a lot more visibility. But it's something that I just adore, and it's one of my life goals, maybe one day to be able to make a mural in London, who knows. So my home is a really important place to me because it really reflects who I am, and it's the place where I work, so it has to be loaded of inspiration pieces and colors, and I love to host people. I love people to feel good when they enter my house, and having lights and music is something that's so important to me. And yeah, my house is just a reflection of my personality, I guess. So I love to buy pieces from other artists around the world. It's a passion of mine, and when people wonder where the money goes when they buy stuff from me, it just goes in the pocket of other really talented artists. My favorite one is the one just over my desk. There are two pieces from Camila Barretos. She's a Colombian artist, and I discovered her work when I was in Bogota. And she's just great. The way she plays with colors and shapes is something that touches me so much, and I absolutely love it. So this year had been really exciting for me because I'm launching my online brand, Vicon. Mainly I'm going to sell my products on that platform, but the aim of that platform is also to put a spotlight on different manufacturers, creating capsule collection, merging my universe with the maker's universe. And I'm also creating a collection of secondhand clothes, hand painted, to create unique pieces for each of the clients. I really want to go against over-consumerism, creating small stock of collections with different makers and doing as many collaborations as I can. So if anyone wants to connect and collaborate with an illustrator, just send me a message. I would be really happy to discuss a potential collaboration.